Never been to Africa before, not proper Africa, that is, only the Arab North. Leaving London early in the morning, far too early from my point of view. A grey sky, a cool day. Prepared for anything in the pursuit of a strange story. A president who recruited Picasso as a means to serve his political ends. Mes photos? Ah, oh, ça c'est bien. I didn't know what to expect in Africa. I had no real image of it. I had no sense of a modern African town, and especially not a French one. Surrounded by an enormous jostling mass of people, moving, however, with great grace, and with a light shining off their clothes in an extraordinary way. They seem to actually glow in this light. They move like noonday fountains. I was unprepared for the extreme physical beauty of the people, their inability to make an abrupt or ungraceful gesture, the glee of the children. But art, here, yes, well, Dakar's Boulevard General de Gaulle, suitably enough because it looks remarkably French. But ahead of me is something totally different. Something for which the first president was entirely responsible, Leopold Sédar Senghor. He had this notion that he had to create an art for Africa, for this country in particular, and he subscribed to a theory called negritude. He wanted to find a way of incorporating modernism with pre-colonial African images. And this is the sort of thing he came up with, or at least commissioned, which exemplified the modernness and at the same time the traditional interest of an African state. This was by Mbai Diop, a famous sculptor, and it's meant to bring together Cubism, Picasso, early art of that kind, together with memories of traditional African art. And so the first president, Leopold Senghor, ordered modern art as a machinery of politics. In 1906, Picasso and other modern painters discover African masks, the source of the magic in Cubism, its irrational and poetic inspiration. 1960, Senghor kidnaps Cubism, claiming it to be faithful to cultural environment, ancestral tradition, and the assimilation of certain Western cultural values. Artists who were prepared to become whores had it made. Academic training, fine studios, state patronage. This building was built to exhibit it. Should we look at some? Impossible. The museum is locked and shut. The pictures, nobody knows where they are, or at least they're not saying. The only evidence they ever existed, a few small black and white photographs in a book. And on the evidence I've seen of negritude artists, it was on a level of the mass-produced tourist kitsch of African airport art, derivative, decorative formula, and when Senghor went in 1980, negritude vanished with him. But the government expulsion of the artists, the closing of the museum, were the fruit of indifference. There was, however, real opposition from real artists during Senghor's time. Here is such a man, Joe Wakam in his magic domain.
Est-il un intellectuel, le président de Négritude?
Senghor,
Oui,
c'était un artiste.
Oui.
C'était moins un intellectuel qu'un artiste. C'est pourquoi d'ailleurs il a intervenu comme il a intervenu. Comme tous les dictateurs, le pire des dictateurs est un artiste, souvent. Tel que Léopold Sédar Senghor a entendu la négritude, ce n'était pas seulement un moyen d'illustration d'une valeur de civilisation. Non, ça a été un moyen idéologique de combattre contre un autre homme, son semblable, et par l'art. Alors nous avons dit non.
I didn't know quite what to expect, but this very gentle, curious person emerged, moving almost as if he was underwater, smoking a very long pipe, looking at one through his spectacles with a kind of penetrating, almost X-ray-like regard. And although he spoke no English, my French is absolutely abominable, and we had to somehow get over that obstacle, I felt we did.
Vous verrez vous-même que l'art est présent partout. L'art est là présent. Mais partout, partout alors. Les seuls endroits où on sent un peu que ça s'absente ou que ça prend des formes autres, c'est les endroits où l'État cherche à leur donner une signification pour maîtriser et les pensées des hommes et aussi leur manière d'être et de vivre. Alors, ce qui veut dire qu'il pourrait venir ici, mais il ne verrait pas ce que vous et moi nous pourrons voir. Vous et moi, nous pourrons regarder ici et voir. Là, rien l'objet. En vérité, voir que tout le corps, le serpent, mais le visage est là. Venez voir le visage. Vous verrez les lunettes, tout le visage est là.
I've met many magical persons, usually connected with the arts, but I think he was one of the most extraordinary. And the detritus he'd gathered around him, the rubbish in a sense that he had transformed from being an artist, well, that fulfilled a great surrealist premise, that art is not something necessarily consciously made, that art is something recognized and brought forward, brought out.
This is Medina. This is an area where the French colonial regime shoved most of the black people during a cholera epidemic. And unlike northern countries, where if something isn't freshly painted, it looks shabby and dreadful, the fading colors are in themselves aesthetically extraordinary, whether consciously or not. This green and purplish door against this pink landscape, and then these goats here, it becomes something very wonderful aesthetically, I think, probably by accident. great many of the images on buildings, outside shops, on billboards are not manufactured, they're hand-painted. And they have a kind of very extraordinary naivety. And high art, too, draws on the street and its accidents. Art here is very much on its own because it's gone round the great movements of the last 50 years. Here's the opening of a new show at a gallery which incidentally leads into a nightclub. Here, there is no hint of the formal, the structured. In Dakar, modern art is gestural, informal, and on the whole rather good.
My color is wall color, and I'm interested in the etching, with the whole things, the whole wall and the material in the...
There is an extreme sense of texture, and texture is something one very much notices here. There always seems to be a reference to a wall or a door or a drummer. It's a wonderful country with space for the irrational. It is a place of chance encounters and the certainty of chance. I always approach any new experience from a surrealist position. I always hope that the child one was to suddenly emerge. I always hope to see round a corner the impossible happening. And here it seems very easy to sense the surreal. When Ramadan ends, men and women turn transvestite and dance. I was persuaded with no difficulty at all to take part. It's always a pleasure, as one gets older and perhaps more disillusioned, to have one's faith as a young man reinforced. And to visit this extraordinary country, to take part in strange adventures, to find myself dressed as an elderly woman prancing about in a square, has reinforced my faith in the extraordinary. It's not a mystic faith, it's a faith that the way most of us live denies magic, denies the extraordinary. And what I found here was there is no such denial. The pop attaché case is aligned with strip cartoons. And the one I chose by chance, a story about a film unit making a documentary about art. Oh, the certainty of chance. Ah, Senegal, Senegal, enemy of the rationale.
In August 1967, I arrived for the first time in Guinea. My name is Zenzile Miriam Makeba Kagwashu Kavama Iketile Nengxowa Ndingumamgwashu. I was coming from the United States, where I had been already in exile from my country, South Africa. In 1967, it was wonderful. So many people at the airport to receive me, little me. And I didn't speak one word of French. My first impressions were, you know, I didn't know what to think because I had never been to an independent country south of the Sahara. To me, it was like an opening of a new world. I mean, it is breathtaking. I had never seen such beauty for a long time. And I became more homesick just looking at the beauty of this country when I first came here. The President Sekou Touré was then president of this country. He led this country to independence in 1958. And so the president said to me, if you ever came to stay in Guinea, where would you like to stay? And I chose the region of Dalaba. It reminded me a lot of home being in Dalaba. This is the first place I came to when I first came to Dalaba. I didn't have a house here then. In 1967, I visited Guinea. I went around the country. When we came to Dalaba, this is the house in which I stayed for the time that I was in Dalaba. And every time I came back to Guinea, if I come to Dalaba, I would stay here. And this is where the president used to come and stay, and that's why it means a lot to me. This is the room where they used to receive all the guests. And it's like a sitting and dining room, as you can see. It would be packed here, especially when the president came. There'd be people outside playing drums, singing. It was a wonderful experience for me. And the striking thing, too, is that even though the people were poor, they didn't have much, But when they were told that I was a visitor coming from a troubled country like South Africa, the people would cry for me. At first, I didn't really understand, but then I did understand that wherever they are standing is theirs, is their land. And they can live wherever they want without anyone telling them, you can't live there, you can't go there. And that was the big difference between here and where I came from. I never went to school to learn how to sing. I mean, it's a natural gift that I had. And I think it came more so from my mother. My mother was a traditional healer. She had certain powers that most of our traditional healers have. So my mother always had beautiful songs, and I learned a lot of songs from her and from my grandmother. I can't heal anybody, but there are times when I can feel things, and there are times when I'm singing, and there are times that something else, someone else takes over from me. I can't explain it really, but I can feel it.
Batsindo bitimbiling sanza lenjani womshiya lenjani batsingilale ngonini yena babe sensinga nemo meshiya wam kusho standano sanka egane shiya wam
I can never really leave this country because I have left a part of me here. In my whole life, I only had one child, and her name was Bongi. She was born on December 20th, 1950 in Pretoria. When my daughter died, I was living here, and she had to be buried here. Even if I wanted to take her remains back to South Africa, I would not have been able to do it because at the time I was still banned. So this being my second home, it was normal and natural that she be buried here.
Dark cloud hanging over left side bosom
So she was my only child and left me 2 grandchildren. And 2 died here too. She would have had 4 children.
West wind with your splendor, take my people by the hand. Well, I'll spread your glory, sunshine, unify. Mother Africa now, unify my precious land, unify.
At home, a lot of people have said I should come and take her remains back to South Africa. But her children say, Grandma, please don't do that. You must not disturb Mommy's soul. God wanted her to be buried in Guinea, and she's there, and Guinea will always be home to all of us.
Walking through the valley, that is where he met his love. She was walking down the hillside, calabash on her head, and blending with nature. Yes, she's a child of the earth.